Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to the channel for another war video. We're here in War 1 of Season 38, and we're going in with Nimrod, Elsa, and Rintra. First up, we've got this Toad on path 1, so that's gonna give him some regen when we stay close to him, but Nimrod is gonna deal with that very easily. He is simply going to eliminate all those regens and turn them into shocks and nuke this Toad down. This fight should be over pretty shortly. Just waiting out this special. We're gonna go back in, hit him in the corner. In the corner he procs more regens, which is where I want to keep him so that we can turn all of those into shocks and just finish him off. So easy fight, pretty straightforward. And moving on, we've got this Eye Hulk, and we're taking this with Elsa. She's sick and tired, so we can block his healing, but it is masochism over time, so some of our debuffs are going to get purified and turned into that big regen. Our goal is just to keep our debuffs up as much as possible. I do think we have to deal with immortality in this one, if I remember correctly. But again, a very straightforward fight if you know how to play against Eye Hulk. And just keeping our debuffs up. We do want to knock him down as much as possible because the debuff from the node counts as a debuff towards the heal block as well. Again, I'm just going to throw off this SP1 here to get some debuffs up. And then I'm coming back in, Light Ender. And he is going to get immortality here, but that's okay. As soon as it disappears, he will be dead. We just have to wait this out, play a little carefully so we don't lose any health. And that is all she wrote. So, pretty straightforward. Moving on, we have this Hulkling in the middle on the new node 23, where you get rooted if you don't hit him for a while. I believe it's called Scared Stiff. Yep. Power Focus 2. This is kind of a nothing fight with Rintra. We're just going to go in, get our neutralize up, and from there on it is a pretty straightforward fight. Launch SP2s when we can. Bubble Shield won't really come to play here too much, again, just because we can kind of bully this guy in the corner, and his specials are not that hard to dex. So I'm throwing this off. It does 58k, which is not too shabby. Again, just neutralizing everything here so we don't have to deal with any of Hulkling's buffs. And there, I don't know, forgot to dex back. Here I'm just going to throw the SP1 to get out of the root because, again, we didn't dex and so the root timer applied, but you can just throw a special to get out of it. Going back in with Rintra. The taunt is on him, he throws his SP1, we're unstoppable, so even though we messed up that dex a little bit, it's totally fine. And I'm just going to throw off this unblockable SP2, see what it does to him. Again, no crit, but that's fine. This fight won't last too much longer, and it's only been a minute, so not an ultra fast like 20-second fight, but not too bad at all. And I'm just going to throw off this unblockable special again. Very cool ability from Rintra when he's got a lot of mystical charges that you can just go unblockable and launch that into the block and finish him off. So next up, we're going to path 8. Turn on the do not disturb there. Make sure that we're good to go. Taking on this Hercules, he's got Rich Get Richer, but he's never going to get any buffs just because Rintra is going to shut him down with the neutralize. And again, it's going to be a very straightforward fight. It's just basically a Hercules with no nodes, kind of a dual fight for Rintra, and we're going to also stop his immortality. The only thing to watch out for is that obviously when we knock him down, he is going to go stun immune, so we have to re-parry. Bait out a special here, and we go back in to try to get the finish relatively soon. I'm going to root him in the corner. He's going to throw the special, that's fine. Just wail on him here with the lights to get more ruptures, and then throw this SP2 and he should be done. So again, just under a minute fight, not too bad. 157k crit there at the end, by the way, pretty sweet. And moving on, we have this Gore. Again, Rich Get Richer, Aspect of Evolution. There's a lot of ways you can play this fight. It helps a lot if you have Odin pre-fights, but we're gonna get rid of his buffs relatively soon. He's not gonna get any more spells, but he is going to be gaining power, so I do want to, again, put the taunt on there to try to get him to throw this. He ends up throwing it. Now I'm going to throw this SP2. He's gaining a lot of power because of Aspect of Evolution. He still has more buffs than us until we get even with the dex, because he's always going to have 2 buffs. So Odin's would be helpful here, but I decided I didn't really care. I was just going to go for it. And here we're going to eat a special 3, but honestly it's just going to cost us a potion. There's no way that this special 3 kills me even with Aspect of Evolution. I think it does take off like, yeah, 30% though, 40%, something like that, but that's okay. Throw this off to get a little bit of healing at the end here, get back up to 70%. So it'll cost us a couple potions, but again, not a problem really at all. Moving on, we have this Cersei, and she's on Conflictor. I sped this fight up just because it takes a long time. Again, the goal here is to just kind of beat her to death. You don't really want to throw specials, and you're probably going to eat some SP3s, so you try to conserve your indestructible boosts, and then if she does get to SP3, it's okay. I'm pretty sure I lose mine. I can't remember though. I think here we're going to push her to SP3 and just say, oh well. Throw ours first just to do some damage. At this point I do think I have all 3 of my indestructible boosts left, if I'm not wrong, and just to be safe I put on a special 3 greater defense boost. But the special 3 animations really make this fight take a little bit longer. Again, we're just healing from those incinerator. I guess they're doing a little bit of damage, but there I lose my indestructible boost, so now I'm like, okay, we're definitely going to be taking the next SP3. So I was like, I don't know, maybe I can finish her off here, 10%. Let's see what this special 3 does. Nope, so I have to eat another special 3, but this is my last fight of the war, so it's totally fine. I have the defense boost on. This is just gonna hurt a little bit, but nothing we can't deal with, and then we finish her off. So that was War 1 versus MIBR, and like I said, this is a double war feature, so we're going on to the GT40 war that we just got done with, and my first fight is Weapon X on Path 4. So if we stay close to him, we're going to get weaknesses applied, but it's just not going to matter. I'm just going to play this like any Weapon X. I'm going to build up my charges, switch to Blitz mode, start turning those into shocks. I'm not really too worried about having very many armors up. Here I'm going to try to bait a special to get him to trigger his frenzy. There it is. Here we bait a heavy and then we go in. Now we're just going to go in for the big SP2, and it should just about sort him out. Again, I'm not even running suicides or anything here. This is just rank 4 Nimrod doing a lot of damage. He didn't even have very many armor ups because we didn't parry, but just a very, very easy fight. Next up, we have Void, and again, this is a heal block node, and again, I think weakness applies to you, but Elsa's just going to shrug all the debuffs. We're going to take a little bit of damage at the start, but again, nothing too crazy, and the damage that you get from shrugging debuffs on this node is just going to make Elsa start hitting super hard, and this ends up being a 17-second fight, I think, something crazy like that. Yep, 17 seconds, 23 hits, super straightforward. So that's my section 1 there. Next up, we're taking again this rooted node. We're taking King Groot here. I think I sped this fight up a little bit as well, just because it just takes a minute. Again, you're never gonna die here on this fight, even if you eat full specials. Your goal is, again, to just play it slow and steady. At some points, he's going to go unblockable because of Bubble Shield during an SP2. You just try to time it right. You want to be at 8 charges, because then the first 2 hit you, and then the dex from the next one will take the unblockable hit. So here I want to push him to SP2 with 8 charges. You'll see. Alright, we get 9 there, so this one we're probably going to eat. Dex hit, yeah. Wanted him to be at 8, so I shouldn't have taken that blocked hit. I think we do it correctly in a little bit. But again, you're never going to die in this fight with Rintrah. There's too many debuffs. If you're running Inequity, he's just not hitting hard enough. And again, super, super simple, even though it takes a while. So yeah, as long as you're under, or at 8 or under, you're going to be fine. So here I'm at 18, see Dex, block, Dex. We get to 20, now he's lost his unblockable from the Bubble Shield. And again, we're just going back in and slowly beating him down. Block, Dex, adds 2 to the counter. Again, we're basically healed up to full here. and we're at 26 bubble shield charges, 27, 28. So now I want to back off. Dex, block Dex, triggers the unblockable, and we're back in. 95% health, a 2-minute fight, so it's pretty long just because he's conduit and you can't really use your specials, but pretty straightforward, nothing too complicated. Moving on to path 8, Rich Get Richer, and we've got Gallon here. Again, this is a conduit defender, so we're not really going to knock him down, we're just going to beat him to death with our special, or with our basic attacks, let the ruptures tick. But again, he's never going to trigger any buffs, so he's never going to go into harvest, and it's pretty straightforward. I think the only thing... Actually, I'm not sure how Special 3 would interact if he was neutralized. I still think he would trigger harvest, though, because it just says he triggers harvest in his abilities, but not 100% sure. So just blocking everything, 40 ruptures, ticking away pretty solidly. It's been 30 seconds, he's almost at 50%. We're gonna go back in, just keep wailing on him in the corner, light attacks whenever possible, and just build up those ruptures, let the damage over time work, and whittle this guy down. It's a very straightforward fight, again with Rintra. Rintra against Conduit Cosmic Champions is very straightforward. It's just a little bit slow because you can't use the big special 2. You can at the end, but I prefer to just beat them down and not worry about the special 3 animation to try to reset and get a big SP2 at the end. So again here, I'm just gonna bait out this SP2, just take it all on the block, go back in, and here I think I just go, maybe I go for an SP3, no, I think I just hit him until he dies, yeah. So again, 99% health, very straightforward fight, a minute and something. And moving on, we have final fight of my war against GT40. It is a Kitty Pride on Rich Get Richer. She doesn't gain any buffs. This placement is probably just to split attack options, but Nimrod will take care of this just fine. Again, I want to switch into Blitz mode against Kitty, start turning her prowess into shocks so that we never really have to deal with any of her mechanics. Just going to be throwing this. I actually mistimed that a little bit so we don't get the full shocks, or she probably would have died there, but it's okay. I was just kind of on autopilot against this fight, which you shouldn't do in war. Just to clarify, I shouldn't have been on autopilot, but I knew that she was going to go down, so I mistimed it a little bit. I should have just waited until I was at 10 charges to throw that, but it is what it is. War 1 against MIBR, we won 6-4, so that was a good start to the season, but then again, GT40 and War 2 gave us every opportunity to get a win, and unfortunately we lost 4-6. Just weren't clean enough, died to too many things, but so far personally on the season, I think 11-0, so happy about that. And hopefully I can be more consistent with these war videos. If you guys liked the video, please leave a like, subscribe for future content, and as always, I appreciate each and every one of you, and I will catch you guys in the next one. Later.